So I don't really use Twitter anymore. I got off of that a few months ago when, you know, you know, moved over to Blue Sky. You can follow me over there at XanderRC. But that being said, I do get occasional views into the still existent and ever weird world of wrestling Twitter whenever someone in my Discord decides to share a tweet in there, and I take a look at it. I've kept my account active just because it's a good archive. But that being said, I'll stop burying the lead here, and I want to take a look at something that I was sent, that I was shown recently, and asked my opinion on. And that was a post from at Cape underscore wrestles, who said, "All right, what are your complaints with Triple H's current booking? Don't rage bait. Answers genuinely." And so I thought I'd take a look at a few of the replies to this, and there was also one reply in particular I want to take a look at. Like I said, I don't really like to use Twitter anymore. Just too much negativity over there. It's why I prefer Blue Sky. But let's take a look at this. Let's see what we got going on over here. Now, first and foremost, I think a lot of people know Triple H is my favorite wrestler of all time. It's Triple H, it's Macho Man Randy Savage, it's Kurt Angle. Maybe I'll do a video breaking down the whole top 10 and why at some point. We'll see. We'll see if that's ever anything anyone's interested in. But let's take a look at some of these replies here and see how I feel. Now, I'm not going to sit here and glaze Triple H all the time. He is my favorite of all time, but I do have several problems with his booking as well. It's leagues above what we had with the old guy, but there are definitely still problems. So let's see. Not every story needs to be long-term or return to IMO. Let's see. Kate here responds, which storylines are you tired of right now? Uh, Happy Liv and Rhea ended. Bloodline stories picking back up, but at some point I was just growing tired of it. That I agree with that. Yep, I do think that not every story needs to be this long-term cinema. I do definitely agree with that. I've seen a lot of people share that sentiment as well. I think you'll see a lot of that long builds to storylines that doesn't need it, even though it doesn't make any sense, drags out stories too long, and has a stacked roster with a bad world champion. I do agree with Cape here. Just say you don't like Cody, but I agree with the Dragon Ball. Yeah, so that's a big consensus there. Is that Triple H drags out stories too long? And I do agree. I think that I've been one of the big people online saying that I thought Liv and Rhea probably should have ended at Bad Blood, if not a little sooner. Either just put the belt back on Rhea and moved on, or kept the belt on Liv and had Rhea doing something else. I genuinely would have been fine either way that went. It didn't need to go to War Games. It didn't need to get stretched to Raw on Netflix. And thank God they ended it on Raw on Netflix, because apparently, if they hadn't done that, they were going to stretch it to Mania. And I don't think any of us wanted 3 more months of that. I love both of them. I think a lot of people know how I feel about Rhea Ripley. There's plenty of video evidence about how I feel about Rhea Ripley. But I was getting tired of that, and I want to see her feud with other people. I want to see her feud with Io Sky, despite how I might have booked her in the Rumble. Apologies to Io fans about that. Didn't realize how many people thought she was going to win the Rumble. I want to see Rio versus, oh God, who else is on the Raw Women's roster at this point? Nia again, if they move her back over there. I booked Bliss to win the Rumble. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see her run it back with Becky. You look at the Raw Women's roster, you got other big names in there as well. I wouldn't mind seeing her mix it up with Lyra when Lyra drops the Intercontinental title eventually. Although I want Lyra to have a good run with that title. But yeah, I 100% agree. And the Bloodline stuff for me has dragged a lot lately. But now that they're letting Jacob Fatu talk, it feels like it's getting some wheels back under it, and we're starting to get some momentum moving. Let's see. Can't book a tag division well at all. 100% agree with this. 100% agree. We were talking about this in the Discord the other day as well. The tag titles have not been featured on a premium live event since WrestleMania 40 when they got split. The only tag matches on premium live events since then have been Bloodline stuff. But why aren't the tag titles featured? I get Triple H likes to do his 5 match cards. I get that. 100% get that. I do enjoy that the premium live events are 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and we're out by 11 and not go until almost midnight like we were under the old regime. But you can squeeze a tag match in there. You can make it a 6 match card. You can make it a 7 match card. No one would complain if it was a 7 match card. That's what I was used to or in the old days. When it started at 8, hard out at 11, 7 matches. Not every match needs 20 plus minutes to go. You don't have to do full 20-minute story beats and everything. 100% agree. DIY and Motor City Machine Guns, when they have that rematch, it should be on Premium Live Event. I think now that the War Raiders have the tag titles, I think they should be cooking with LWO and God, who else is in the Raw tag division at this point? Um, who else is in the Raw tag division at this point? AOP. Um, Geez, this is showing that even though I watch the product every week, I'm always busy and I'm not really thinking about it. But also, I book Universe, so I've got my own roster of tag teams I have to worry about. But yeah, no, like these tag teams should be mixing it up on the PLEs every month. There should be at least a tag title match, even if you're swapping it out. The women's tag titles get featured on there occasionally, but that's about it. Let's see. Okay, Nightmare here. Jay Wrestling Take says overuse of betrayal angles, inability to build growing stars, inability to create interesting women's storyline feuds, mismanagement of roster depth on SmackDown, doesn't know when to kill a feud, too slow at building up heel and face turns, doesn't know when to strike when the iron is hot. Let's take these one by one. Overuse of betrayal angles. I feel like that's just always been a problem in WWE. I see where Nightmare is coming from here, though. There's been a lot of betrayals. I mean, we had the Judgment Day have 2 betrayals in one night at SummerSlam, so I can get that. Inability to build new growing stars. Now, I both do and don't agree with this. You look at Carmelo Hayes, 100% agree. That's been Triple H's biggest NXT call-up fumble since he took over in 2023. Carmelo Hayes is... The fumble of Carmelo Hayes is insane. The guy should have been at the least U.S. champion by now. You brought him in, you did that big match with Cody, and then you did nothing with him. 100% agree on that about Carmelo, whereas Braun Breaker I think has been handled tremendously, for example. And then there's other new growing stars that I think haven't been handled quite as well on main roster either. You look at some of the women he's called up, they haven't really done much. Lyra's been an exception that she's doing pretty well. I'm trying to think of, there haven't been too many call-ups since he took over. There were a lot in 2023, I suppose. There was like 13, but a lot of them got released, like a lot of them. But yeah, let's see. Create interesting women's storyline feuds. Yeah, I kind of agree on that one as well. The Liv and Rhea stuff was eh. And then other than that, I can't tell you many. I liked how Nia Jax has been built. I guess Tiffany Stratton's another new growing star that's been built pretty well, I'd say. At this point, I'd say she's been built pretty well. I mean, she's champion, so I'll give you that. Um, I mean, I can't even tell you many women's storyline feuds that have happened since he took over. So I can, the women's division, the tag division have been fumbled, not very well by Triple H. Let's see, mismanagement of roster depth on SmackDown. SmackDown is kind of a drag most weeks nowadays. It's it's a pretty big drag to get through SmackDown a lot of weeks nowadays. It's not like painfully bad. It's just kind of boring. Like that's how I always put it. It's unoffensively boring is SmackDown. And then too slow at building up heel and face turns. Yes, agree. This top comment here from Low Life here says, I've been waiting on Theory to turn on Waller since last February, and that storyline went nowhere. Yeah, that's a big one. 100% agree with that. Triple H loves the slow builds. You can do things a little faster sometimes. 100% agree. You can do things a little faster sometimes. Let's see. No complaints. Okay. Him making almost everything too predictable. Wish he took some more surprise risks. I can kind of see that one, yeah. The way he books Finn. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of agree. Let's see. And the Bloodline storyline, better tag team booking, better booking of the women's division, improved massively. Better booking for Chad Gable. Yeah, Gable, he re-signed and hasn't done anything. He got murdered by the Wyatts. The Wyatts is something I've had issues with his booking on. Let's see. Taking too long to get to the point with certain programs, not knowing when to quit. Start someone getting hot, Gable, Wyatt 6, LA Knight, and then just steadily letting them go cold. Regulating beyond regulating. I think it's relegating Bianca to the tag division. He hasn't built any new stars to main event level. Let's see. I don't want to know who this is if I've blocked them. Let's see. Andrade and Aleister Black dropped the ball. They had a high opportunity again with Andrade, but the direction's going more. Well, Aleister Black's not even back yet, so. But I do agree Andrade should be doing more than he is. He was the speed guy for a while. Let's see. WWE title only changing hands at WrestleMania looks like the norm. Yeah. That does bother me as well. I'm rooting for Kevin Owens to win at Royal Rumble, but I feel like Cody's going to hold that for a while. I've also said that if you're not going to take it off of Cody this year or at Mania, I have pitched before in a previous video that you have Braun Breaker take it at SummerSlam. If you want to build up a new star, you do it that way. Showing few talents over and over, boring storylines of world champions, drags out storylines, without putting it in a list of things that have been added to this thread already. He plays it too safe to make weekly TV something I feel I need to watch. Yeah, I can kind of see where people are coming from here. Let's see. Every title reign lasts 4 to 5 months, only ends with 3 to 9 defenses. Doesn't know how to differentiate stories that require a long build compared to a medium or short build. Feuds running a little longer than needed. 50 reruns of the same matches gets a little tiresome. Hunter has a whole ass roster of people. Random shit with a sprinkle of story once in a while isn't a bad thing. Just not all the time. Too much long-term storytelling. Not pushing Gable to win a title. Yeah, Gable should have beat Sammy for the IC title, if not Gunther at WrestleMania 40. Okay, this guy says everything about his booking I don't like. That's fair if people feel that way. Sometimes you got to keep things short and sweet. Another complaint I have is the booking of the undercard, women's tag division, and NXT call-ups that get lost. And I say this so many times, with WWE needs a secondary creative team for underutilized stars. Agreed. Agreed. I'm really hopeful WWE will be able to get Scott D'Amore in. I've heard they've been talking to him lately, as have AEW. AEW could also really use the help, but I don't talk about AEW because I don't have much nice to say about AEW lately, so I don't want to be super negative. This is the most negative video I'm probably ever going to put out. It's just, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. His use of Latino talent. Yes, the LWO Vortex drives me insane to no avail. And like what he said on that press conference a few months ago when someone asked, hey, Triple H, we haven't seen any black male talent on premium live events since Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits at WrestleMania 40. And before that, the last singles match a black guy had on a WWE Premium Live event was SummerSlam 2022. What's up with that? And I cannot repeat his response to that because I do not want a soundbite of me saying that on the internet. What the hell is my response to that? Let's see. World title reigns last forever. Okay. Now, I could go on and on through this forever. There are a lot of replies to this original post here from Kate. But the one I really wanted to talk about for a minute here is this one. This is the one that got shared in my Discord. And that is from YSSN, Call Me Rand Bob. Being a heel is career suicide under his regime. Unless you're Roman or Gunther, good luck. And this guy can't book champions for shit. Okay. I want to dig into this one for a minute because I think he's got a point with the Roman and Gunther thing. They were the only heel champions that weren't kind of built like chicken shits the entire time. And even then, Gunther kind of became one for a little while, which was weird because he's Gunther and he shouldn't be booked like that. But you look at the heel roster under Triple H. Let's jump over to WWE.com. So we go over to WWE.com. Let's look at the roster here. And let's take a look at some of the top heels on the current roster. Oh, hey, these guys finally got their championship renders. Cool. About 2 days too late from when I edited the Rumble video. Thanks. My big complaint under WWE lately is their website takes forever to get updated. Took like a month and a half before they put Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa on it. Anyways. Alright, let's see. AJ Styles that injured. Let's see. What other top heels are there on the roster here? What is Apollo Crews doing now, by the way? What is this gimmick of him just hating DIY for some reason? I don't get it. Let's see. A-Town Down Under have been booked like crap, I agree. Turn Austin Theory face at this point. Try and channel some of that Evolve Theory energy. That's my take on that one. This is one of my biggest ones. Like, how is she not in the mix for at least the women's U.S. title right now? Come on. She should be doing something. Let's see. Bronson Reed, the wheels were starting to turn with him, and then he got injured. So he's a heel that's been being built fairly well lately, I would say. Let's see. I've made my feelings on how they're booking Carmelo Hayes very well known. He's very underutilized. God, yeah, Chad Gable, since his heel turn, has been booked like crap. I agree. Let's see. Who else? I don't know what's happened, but Dominic Mysterio was the biggest heel in the business a year ago. And they have just... I need to close this blind. I am reflecting right now. I've got it open for my cats when they're in here so that they can look out the window. but I am a pasty motherfucker. So let's see. Yeah, and there's Braun Breaker. He's been built pretty well, but he's kind of a tweener when he's a heel. Dom, I agree. Like, he was the biggest heel in the business a year ago, and he's just kind of a job guy now. He's like a main event. He's an upper mid card job guy. Drew is the one I saw some discourse about under YSSN's post, because Drew has been built like such a big deal, but he loses every big match, and I see where they're coming from on that one. I do see where they're coming from with that feeling about that with Drew. And he has been built really well. I hope that they will put the World Heavyweight title on him this year at the least, because I feel like there's a lot to do with Drew, and let him do what he's doing now, but actually have him win some. He was kind of booked into a corner with CM Punk. CM Punk kind of had to win that feud because you couldn't have Punk lose his first feud back in 10 years after Drew was the one that injured him in the first place, and storyline they even built on that as well. And I don't blame Drew for the injury, obviously. But let's see. Let's look at the rest of the roster here. Ethan Page is still in NXT. Oh, the booking of Finn Balor. This one pains me. Agree on Finn Balor. Why is he booked this way? Let's see, who else? What other top heels are there that we can look at? Jacob Fatu, it looks like the wheels are starting to turn here after SmackDown the other night. Again, their website, terrible being updated. These guys lost the belt a month ago. He's still got his render with the belt. Jesus. Let's see. DIY, we haven't seen much since their heel turn. I'm liking heel DIY, though. I am loving what they're doing with Cross. Like, I'm going to be real. I'm loving what they're doing with Cross, and I hope we see more of it. Kevin Owens being built really well right now, but I think it's another Drew situation where he's going to be built really well, but he's going to lose the big matches, which I'm kind of sad about. LA Knight's not a heel, but, you know, I saw someone mention that, like, he was white hot and they've cooled off on him big time. Hopefully they'll be able to recapture some of that this year. I'd love to see him get moved to Raw. Or if they're going to swap Cody and Gunther around in this trade period, whatever it's called that they're doing, I'm kind of hopeful they'll do that and just put LA Knight into the world title mix against Gunther if Gunther goes to SmackDown. We're not going to talk about you. Let's see. Ludwig's being built pretty well, but again, another big thing. Like, he's being built as a good heel, but he's losing all the time. Let's see. Who else we got here? You could do so much with Omos, and I would make a video, like, 9 pitches for how to bring Omos back if I thought people would give a shit about it. If people would actually care about it, I would do it. But I don't think people would actually care about it. Let's see. Another fumble has been Pete Dunne as a heel. Like, he got rolled up by R-Truth, and then we have not seen him in 2 weeks. Let's see here. Again, we're going to skip over Roman on that one. Nakamura, I've enjoyed his booking so far, but I feel like he's just got the belt so that he could do his Noah thing and he's going to drop it. There's a lot to say about Solo, and so I'm going to choose to say none. It's always bothered me that Miz is down in the T's because he's the Miz. He should just ignore the T, like the, and put him in M's. That bothers me more than it should. We'll see how they build Tiffany. I'm gonna give them time on this one. I'm gonna let it play out. It's a lot of people's old favorite sayings. And then the Wyatts. God, again, the Wyatts I could make a whole video about. But yeah, no, I see where they're coming from on that. But yeah, that's, you know... Oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of those takes on Triple H. Again, he's my favorite of all time. I love Triple H. And like I said, I'll make a video about my top 10 favorites. People really want to see that someday. It's a good evergreen kind of video. I could knock out the audio from one day and then edit it, and then it would be good to go. But yeah, so what are your biggest issues with Triple H? I will say, just to end on a positive note, I do have some praises for Triple H. The shows do feel bigger. The matches are given more time to breathe. The talent have personality now. They feel like they aren't being forced onto a script. They're being told, go be yourself. Here's notes about your character. Go have fun. It does feel a lot like that now compared to what it used to be. It feels like people know who they are better. We have seen a lot of stars get built up that weren't being built up A lot of people have gotten their jobs back, which has been great. And I mean, Lindsay Dorado is apparently back. Um, but yeah, so let me know what have been your biggest gripes with Triple H, but what's been your favorite things with Triple H as well, so that we don't have just a full negative comment section. And what other things do you want to see me talk about? What other things do you want to see me rebook? I'm sure some of you might be thinking, well, if it's anything like your Rumble rebooking, I don't want to see you book anything. But there's been a lot of positivity on that Rumble video, and I do want to thank you all for that. I was not prepared to be able to talk for 20 straight minutes about this, but I did. So I will see you guys for the next WrestleLuigi video. Until then, take care, everybody. I've been Xander. That was WrestleLuigi. And tune in over at ls11universe.com tonight. That's the website. Tune in over the LS11 Universe YouTube channel tonight. I'm going to be playing a drinking game, watching TNA Genesis 2024. Hopefully, seeing Joe Hendry win the TNA World Championship. And if I don't, you will see a drunk Xander crashing out. Until then, bye, everybody.